What's going on, guys? Nick Lesagore here, Exit 12 Homebrew in the house. And we are here on a casual Monday night. It's been a little bit, been a few weeks, 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, since we put out a video. Brandon's busy, I'm busy, you know how it is. This is life. I'm here to just provide some updates, do a little chitter, do a little chatter. Let's have a little chit chat. Firstly, I'm sipping on some Donovan, an entry into two local competitions. Let's get it. Boom. Looking good. It is Azaka and Citra, as I try to get used to this camera. Canon M50, killing it. Brandon hooked me up. He helped me out a little bit. We got the less blue light, I guess. Brian short-circuited, hooked it up as well. So Brandon gave me some nice direction before this video. But this thing is pineapple, mango. I said Citra and Enigma. It's Citra and Azaka. My fault. And speaking of Citra, let's talk hops. Yakima Valley hops. That's right. They're an official sponsor, the newest sponsor of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club, signed up at the top tier, $400 for the year, stainless steel mash paddle sponsors. I can't say enough about Yakima Valley hops. They just recently had one of their first Friday flash sales. What they do is once a month, the first Friday of every month, they put a hop on sale. October 4th, it was Citra. Citra normally goes for $23 on the website. We got it for $14. Not we as the club, we as in customers. $9 per pound sale. You're saving that money. That's 18 bucks. We bought 2 pounds. We brew with a ton of Citra. We love it. Love Yakima Valley hops. Awesome people over there. Super, super nice. And they have easily the best social media footprint of any company I've seen in the homebrew space. Awesome, awesome people over there. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the club. To go along with Brewing America, to go along with Beer and Wine Hobby, to go along with 5 Star Chemicals, to go along with Imperial Yeast. Awesome, awesome sponsors. Loving it. Love the club. We're climbing up in sponsorship money. Everything's going good in that front. Secondly, let's talk about some upgrades around the brewery, which I'm really excited about. We've been brewing a ton, there's no doubt about it. We have a nice selection of beers right now that are in the fridge. We have Donovan on tap right now. We also have Sam with Enigma on tap. That's fresh, still carbonating, just transferred it to the keg a few days ago. We're gonna be entering that in a competition. And speaking of competitions, before we get into upgrades, we entered Donovan in a competition. We also entered our barrel-aged Imperial Milk Stout in a competition, and a brown ale that we brewed for the first time in English brown ale that we call Autumn in England. We entered it in 2 competitions and kind of mixed up the beers a little bit. Only entered the Imperial Stout in 1 competition. Scored reasonably well, in the high 30s. Donovan scored pretty well, low 40s. We're excited about that. Some changes I'd like to make. Brandon and I talked about it. Maybe add a little bit of a bittering charge. Maybe add some hops in the boil later on. We'll see. We're gonna play with some things. We got plenty of hops. But the brown ale finished second in the British beer category in the Merrimack Valley Homebrew Competition. So got silver for the category, bringing home some hardware, getting a medal. We're pretty pumped about that. It was our first time brewing an English brown ale. Brandon absolutely knocked the water chemistry out of the park, so we're pretty happy overall with the results of that competition. Waiting on the results for Donovan in the brown ale. We entered in a second competition that we'll be finding out later this month, and we brewed Sam, and as well as the brown ale that we're putting in a third competition, and entries are due by the end of this week on the 23rd of October for that. Very, very busy. This week we're also brewing an American porter. Recipe, again, created it for the first time. We've done porters before, mainly smoked porters. This is more on the American side, no smoked malts, a little bit of a pantry, list of grains and with some really interesting hop additions. So we'll see how that turns out. We're going to be brewing that this week, maybe on Thursday or Friday. So really excited about that. Now, getting into some awesome upgrades. Me, in the brewery, upgraded the taps. We went from our intertap flow control faucets that I liked a little bit. I thought the flow control feature actually created more foam on my pours than anything else. So for Christmas last year, I got actually 3 Nuka taps from that Kegland makes. Kegland, the famous company out in Australia that also is known for the Brew. They're also known for the Firmzilla, of which Brandon and I have both of those as well. But the Nuka tap has a really cool design, a black handle, and so I installed those this past week, and the pour is already looking good, as I showed you with this beer here. A second brewery upgrade is we purchased a Blickman Quick Carb. We mainly did that for competitions where we have tight timelines, like tight turnarounds. So if we want to brew a New England IPA or any beer really, and it requires a little more carbonating time, 2 or 3 days, we don't really like throwing 30 psi on our beers and just kind of doing the roll kind of deal with the keg. You know, you roll it on the ground to let the CO2 soak into the beer more. We don't really care for that. We like to carb it reasonably slower than that, which is basically 2 days on 20 psi and then 1 or 2 days on 15, and then we settle it to serving pressure and let it sit. So for those situations where we don't have time, we're up against it, tight timeline, we purchased a Blickman Quick Carb, as I mentioned, got it off of the Facebook Marketplace homebrew yard sale page or whatever the hell it is, for $100. I'll take it. We'll see what happens. You know, we haven't used it yet, as I mentioned, but it's something that could be really fun and interesting. Also, another minor upgrade is purchasing a 5,000 milliliter flask to do bigger yeast starters. So for those yeast that we have that are maybe a year old, maybe 2 years old, that we want to still use and not do a 2-stage starter, we purchased a gigantic flask for that. Just another minor expense, but something that'll hopefully keep us to utilizing a 1-stage yeast starter so that we're not, and also to help avoid possible blow off, which is what we're finding. Depending on the yeast, we use quite a bit with the smaller flasks. Overall, super busy here in the brewery, super busy in general with life, trying to catch up with more videos. I'll try to get some footage on the American Porter brew day if I can. Generally, when I'm brewing at night during the week after work, after I put the baby down, the last thing I want to do is record, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It could be an easy brew day and something that I will be able to fit into the brew day in terms of recording. Elsewise, that's about it. Really excited. Red Sox are coming on soon. Loving that color. Look at the lacing. Sexy as a mother effer. Cincinnati Bearcats. I'm an alumni.
Ladies and gentlemen, one last nugget for you while the Bearcat mascot is here.
Second in the nation, their football team, ranked number 2, absolutely killing it. Shout out to Desmond Ritter, Luke Fickle, amazing team this year. Really excited to see how far they go. And don't tell me that they're not going to make it in the playoff. I don't want to hear it at all. Don't need that slander on my team. Otherwise, casual Monday, just hanging out. Wanted to provide some quick updates. We're canning, we're brewing, we're doing quite a bit of brewing. It's getting cold out soon. We're gonna have to figure out a way to chill down our beers when we brew during the winter. It stays about 50 degrees here in the basement during the winter, which is pretty cold, but it's not cold enough that we can't brew. Might take a little bit longer to heat up the water, but whatever the case, home brewing never sleeps. That much is for sure. So have a good week. From me to you, from us at Exit 12 to you, cheers. L'chaim. Take it easy.